Hello, my name is Mrs. Peters and I would like to give you a brief tour of our classroom so that you're comfortable with how we function in the classroom during our instructional time. So let's get started. In this area, you will find student work being displayed. You can tell I have a passion for bees because I like learning about them, and there's something that I'm curious about, and the students will be learning about them. So we have labels like drone bees, and then we have labels like worker bees. But this is where students display their learning. Further down the way, I'll show you how we're displaying our writing area. In this area here, we have our thinking maps area. This is where we do a lot of thinking prior to publishing our work. So we start off with a specific thinking map, and then we go into reading that thinking map so that the child can understand it. And once that child understands what they want to publish, they start with a rough draft, and they go into the editing phase, and then they're ready for publishing. And this is where we publish our writing in third grade. In this area here, this is where we spend a lot of time with small groups. Mainly this area was designed for guided reading, thus the table being here. So we work in small groups, anywhere from 3 to 5 students. We try and keep the number small so that the child can have more attention from the teacher. Whether we're doing small groups with guided reading, whether we're doing small groups with writing or math, this is where that intervention occurs. And then here, you see where we have strategic Bs. And this is where students are working on certain strategies. If they need more support in comprehending what they read, understanding what they're reading, you'll see their names in this area. If they're having trouble pronouncing words, if they need more support with word work, this is where their name would be. Here, if they're reading like talking, this is where you will find their name. Or if they need to work on reading like talking, this is where you find that name. Now, if the child is like one of those high readers for third grade, they're ready for third grade. They're doing everything. You as a parent has done everything you could to support the child, and now they're ready to expand their vocabulary because that's going to move them into higher levels of reading, the more vocabulary that they have under their belt. And in that case, you find your child's name here. This is where we do some student interaction whiteboard area here. This is where I'm posting some of the writing samples for the students so they can see how to write before they write. So this is me modeling the word, posting it up here. So that's in this area. Let's move to the next area. This area here is our job lab. Students have specific jobs, and these jobs change daily. And this is to help our little community function well so we can run efficiently. So everyone has responsibilities during the day in our classroom. On this side of the wall, we have our behavior chart. I always like to call it our expectation chart. Okay, so students have certain expectations that they're expected to follow during the day here at Cottonwood. And so every child starts off on green. They're asking themselves, well, how am I doing? That's for them to monitor. Every child in the classroom they have choices, and they can either make a positive choice or a negative choice. When they make a negative choice, like blurting out in the classroom without raising their hand, or if they're in another child's space, okay, they're going to get a warning. And then if they are warned about that, they're put in timeout. And then further down, you will see that a note goes home. At the end of the day, everyone is put back on grade. Okay? But if your child is consistently moving their pen every day, then we typically want to contact parents so you can try and help us in the classroom so that your child's behavior is not impacting the learning for the rest of the students. And I hope that makes sense. On to the next area. This huge area here is our gathering area. This is where we do whole group lesson. This is where every child is given the same lesson at the same time. Okay? So here is where we do our shared reading, where kids are given direct instruction on reading. This is also where we do some thinking about our reading, and we write about our reading as well. When we look at our big whiteboard here, this is where we do our instruction, whether it's grammar, whether we do our direct instruction for math, for science, it takes place in this area here. So if you look closely at the board, below the board, the whiteboard, you see that we work with our prediction strategy, questioning, clarifying, and summarizing. Here are some questions to support students in their thinking when they're getting that direct instruction. We also have a multiplication chart, which is huge for third grade. It's very important that your child gets those multiplication facts in their brain, memorize them. So if I ask them what's 3 times 2, they can tell me roughly about 3 seconds what is 3 times 2. If they can't, if they're going anywhere past that, they need to start working on those multiplication facts more. And that means every day, not some days of the week, but every day of the week, at least 5 days of the week. If you have any questions about anything that goes on in my classroom, you can reach me via email. Class Dojo is the #1 way to reach me. So please connect to Class Dojo under Busy Bees, and I'll see you soon.